Blairstown Diner, Bruce Campbell writes a DC comic series, and Here Come the Mummies, all on this Friday edition of Spill the Guts.
I like it spooky.
Hello and welcome. My name is Clint, and I am one half of the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast, which brings you a featured news, reviews, interviews, and entertainment show every other week, monthly Crackle and Redbox streaming app rundowns, this tri-weekly horror news blitz roundup every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and is working to bring you additional regular content on top of all of that in the near future. Speaking of additional content, listen in for a short bonus episode this coming Sunday from the other half of the show, who talks with the staff at the Orpheum Theater about some exciting upcoming film screenings. But before we get to that, let's get to some news, because today is Friday, August 25th, and this just in. I was originally made aware of this first story of the day by Living Dead Museum movie location tour guide Lawrence DeVincent's through a Facebook post on the Living Dead Weekend Facebook group page. The story has since been covered on FridayThe13thFranchise.com, the History of Horror Facebook group, and Haunters Hangout Facebook group as well. Now that you have been served the story's appetizer, let's get to the main course. The historic Blairstown Diner featured in the original Friday the 13th film is for sale. Located in Blairstown, New Jersey, this popular tourist attraction and still fully functional diner has hit the open market with a listing price of $675,000. The listing description reads, "The sale of the 1,368 square foot Blairstown Diner, established in 1949, includes the .65 acre State Highway 94 prime commercial property and the recently renovated diner in the heart of Blairstown. The diner is famous worldwide as the diner featured in the original Friday the 13th movie that was filmed in and around Blairstown and released in 1980. The movie's cult-like following draws visitors from around the globe, especially any time a Friday falls on the 13th of the month. The diner seats 63 and provides parking for 37 vehicles. The complete commercial kitchen is supported by a new walk-in cooler, a large cold storage shed, and additional dry storage capacity. The diner enjoys a new highway digital sign, a new outdoor patio, and lots of additional and usable outdoor space. The diner's principal is an absentee owner." I was fortunate enough to visit the Blairstown Diner back in February and can tell you firsthand the place, people, and food was amazing, and hope someone steps up to keep this great place going, and wish the current owner a happy retirement. I will include a link to the Remax listing on the I Like It Spooky Horror Podcast Facebook page. Second story of the day comes to us from BloodyDisgusting.com, who reports that DC is releasing a hardcover collection of the Bruce Campbell comic Sergeant Rock vs. the Army of the Dead. Bruce Campbell made his mark on the DC universe with the DC horror comic book series Sergeant Rock vs. the Army of the Dead last year, and a collector edition is on the way. Written by Bruce Campbell with art by comics legend Eduardo Risso, DC Presents Sergeant Rock vs. the Army of the Dead hardcover collection will release in October of this year. Created by writer Robert Kanigher and artist Joe Kubert, Sergeant Rock first appeared in June of 1959 in DC's anthology comic Our Army at War, issue number 83. His origin was set during World War II, where Sergeant Rock and his unit, the Easy Company, fought in the European theater. The press release reminds, quote, "The character became so popular that in 1977, the Our Army at War series was renamed Sergeant Rock and ran under the Sergeant Rock name until 1988. Sergeant Rock now returns in Bruce Campbell's DC Horror Presents Sergeant Rock vs. the Army of the Dead to fight the most horrific enemy he's ever encountered, resurrected, dead Nazi soldiers. The story begins in Berlin, 1944. The Nazis are flanked on all fronts by the combined Allied forces, and defeat seems inevitable. In a last-ditch effort to turn the tide of the war, Hitler and his team of evil scientists create a serum that resurrects their dead soldiers, creating an army of the dead even stronger than they were in life. For more about Sergeant Rock, let's hear from the writer himself, Mr. Bruce Campbell.
How do you kill something that's already dead? And the answer is, it's a big fat pain in the ass. Katie Kubert contacted me and said, hey, we're going to put some DC characters into a horror world. Are you interested? I stopped cold when it got to Rock because I'm like, I read him. He's low-tech, old school, and he's just a great soldier. But in any of these fantastical stories, you get one gimme. And the gimme is Hitler can bring soldiers back from the dead. Sergeant Rock provides the answer of who's going to take care of business. As he says to his own guys, I don't know how they do it, and I don't care. Our job is to stop it. It's a pretty good marriage of artist and subject matter. He's great with characters, he's great with faces, he's great with mood, and that's everything. In a horror movie, mood is 2/3 of it. I'd hire Rock way over Ash any day of the week.
Speaking of an army of the undead, it's time to pause for station identification and hear from our podcast network, the PFPN.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal: providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
Last up before you escape into your weekend is a message from the undead. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes the Mummies.
What's happening, everybody? It's Here Comes the Mummies. Come and see us, baby, at St. Andrew's Hall in Detroit on September 17th, baby. We want to see you there.
Tickets for this Sunday, September 17th show at St. Andrew's Hall in Detroit, Michigan are just $25 and can be purchased at concerts.livenation.com. And that's a wrap on your Friday news. As always, don't forget to connect with the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast on all mainstream social media platforms and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss a thing, including the short bonus episode conducted by co-host Brian with the staff of the Orpheum Theater that releases this Sunday, where they discuss some special upcoming film screenings that you don't want to miss. Enjoy your weekend, and I will talk with you again this coming Monday on another edition of Spill the Guts.
Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Show some fucking respect for the dead, will ya?